And I think that's something that I can relate to. I've struggled with because I'll get a lower energy because I let the thing happen again, or I entertain the thing again as if it wasn't supposed to happen. And I'm frustrated, but guess what? While you're frustrated that you missed the mark, it's that energy's you're weighted down. You're frustrated. So you have to just go, good, I missed, but what allowed me to hit more than I miss? Let me focus on that. And I think you're really the good is a real world practical. I think uh tying that in is I think by someone saying like when things are not ideal and we throw a good, it gives your body or it gives the group a little bit of like, hey, good. Whew, calm down for a second. Let's collect all the facts. Let's discuss some options. But that good is a verbal indicator or a way that you can just kinda settle in, calm down, let's evaluate, let's make a good decision, and then sometimes time-sensitive stuff needs a time-sensitive answer, but there's always time to pause and calm for a second. Sometimes you don't have days or weeks to make a decision or react. Sometimes you gotta react in a minute, but there's always that 5 or 6 seconds to go,
There's always time to take time to save time,
yeah.
and we gotta remember that, and that we let our anxiety and our, sense of urgency make us feel like that's not a thing. We need to pause, and we need to immediately know that, hey, we're like, the fact that we even thought that should be a warning sign, should be a gauge going off. You should the check engine light should be going off in the car, like, that's a problem. Like, we should like, "Oh, whoa, whoa, check it."
Hold,
Like,
hold.
let's pause, let's not react to anything. Now we need to actually do take time so we can save time, and part of saving the time is just getting our energy back in check, right? And clocking it. And step 1 is even being able to realize and index your energies in the first place of, like, knowing what's what and what calm feels like when you're not in it. And then for me, what helps me, it's less about actually knowing the energies and it's knowing the things that come from the energies. Those are the things that I clock and let me know that like, and it allows me not to lie to myself because I've been observing it for so long. I know what comes from those energies. So as I start doing those things or thinking those things, I immediately don't lie to myself and try to act like, "Oh, no, you're on that energy." No, yeah, yeah, I am because that's what comes from that energy. So I need to immediately address and fix that because if I wasn't in that energy, I wouldn't have thought that, or I wouldn't have felt that way, or I wouldn't have wanted to act on that
Right.
because
Yeah.
I would have saw it from a different lens, from a different view. So those are my check engine lights. Those are my warning signs. Those are my red flags that are popping up and I'm clocking them. And those are my signs to let me know that, hey, nope, you need to take a pause for the cause. You need to take a big breath. You need to go back within, focus on the breath, be present, and let go of the because those thought as you're trying to do that, you're still gonna get bombarded with thoughts. They're still gonna be
Yeah.
like trying to like, no, 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 me, and it's just gonna and it sometimes in the beginning until you get good at it, it's gonna get louder and louder, and your ability to go within's got to get stronger and stronger.
Yep.
As it gets
And
louder
the
and louder, you get stronger and stronger of going within, and what you find is as you do that, it's like as if it gets distant. It's like it feels and it sounds as if that yelling or that loud sound is getting further away. It's as if you're energetically pushing it away, as if it's no longer right there, and you'll find that going within is what pushes out things that are trying to derail you, distract you, or take you off course, or put you in an energy that you know is not going to get you the result that you say that you want. And then it's just getting really good at repeating that
and
process, that
ultimately
cycle.
ultimately that energy is getting loud like pick me because it wants you to choose it.
Mhm.
And if you choose it and then you in real world, in life, you see the results of choosing it, Well, it's got a friend that comes around that it's like, "Oh, we got him here," and it calls its friend to come over, another one, and it's almost like they just come out of the woodwork
Mhm.
at you, and you can't it almost feels like it's not a choice. Like, we talk to people, and I've felt that way before where I'm you're kinda just going, you're so deceived by those lower energies, and you're just choosing one right after the other, and then you stop and look. Hopefully, you have times to stop and look. Sometimes it's a reality check, like, life really hits you, like, you something happens, hopefully, it's a friend, but sometimes we see the results of the behavior, and then we hopefully ask the question, "Why is this happening? Why am I getting these results?" Which that's a powerful question just right there, but it does those negative energies and those deceptive energies are going to yield a certain behavior. If you perform that behavior, you're gonna have a specific result of that root, that's the root, and you're gonna see the fruit from from that energy, and then when you ask, "Why is this happening?" You can trace it back to the root and go, "Well, every time doubt creeps in." Well, doubt creeps in, but if you start choosing doubt, it stops creeping. I think it starts to get rowdy, and it starts to feel bigger and macho till you stop choosing it. But the more you choose it, and then you choose those behaviors, and then you get the results from those behaviors, the only way to change is to do what?
To not feed it, not give it energy.
Don't give it any juice.
Yeah.
You can't plug it in. You can't let it power on. But but you still gotta make a choice, and that's why we talk so much about focusing on the higher energies. Like, give yourself a game. Give yourself tools of like, "Hey, when I feel this, I'm gonna calm, pause, and I'm going to choose how I'm about to feel." And it's a tough road. It's not easy. And it is the stronger you get, it seems like the stronger they get. And but with that, I do believe there's some strength, and there's some, like, our higher energies also get stronger as we feed them.
Oh,
Would
yeah,
would you say that?
it's no different than a video game. It's like trying to take on level, the last level with the level 1 skills and level 1, equipment and all of that.
Yeah, tools
You're
and
going to get destroyed. So you're developing your skills, you're developing your equipment, like, typically, in some video games, you have teams, and a lot of times the teammates, they also evolved and got better, or you got more, teammates that are also gonna be required to take on that last level boss, and, so it's all of that that goes into it, um, and then there's never a last level boss, though, but
it's just a
it's
journey.
it's like what you find, and when that was another, and we'll get into that, or I'll mention it real quick, was one of the as I got further along and I really started getting this stuff down and I started passing more and more tests, I started realizing stuff that I thought I had overcome and I had already like got that certificate and I moved on from it would surface back. I'm like, what? Wait, whoa, hold on, what is this? No, 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 we done this. No, that's not what it was. It was coming back because I got the certificate for level 1.
Right, first grade.
Now it's time for certificate for level 2, and then, oh, by the way, once you get that one, and it could be a year from now, could be the very next day,
Yeah,
level 3 is when I say, "Hey, I'm here. My turn.
yeah.
Let's see what you got." And then you gotta overcome that one. Yeah, so levels are definitely a thing that we also need to, take into account and make sure that we don't fall into that same trap. Hopefully, people can learn from, my experiences, and that's one of the big things that we hope to gain from this podcast is that we're able to help people, um, bypass some levels or make it a little easier or speed the process up.
And at minimum, relate,
Yeah.
right? Because I know in with what we're talking about is is the one thing I think that helps is like ever that I really want this to be heard is that the things you're dealing with, so is your neighbor, so is the person that lives across the street, so is your buddy in Texas, so is people in other countries, like because these things are universal, and as far as everyone has a state, everyone can become aware, everyone has focus, and everyone has energy. And so it's universal, whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, or you're a plumber, or you're a hairstylist. This is not, this doesn't choose a career field or it doesn't choose an age. Like these levels are happening at 4 years old, 40 years old. Like energy's happening. We're energetical beings. And so I think if nothing else, people could relate because it's when one thing that I find very powerful is when I feel like things are out of control and I can't speak to why, I feel helpless. And then those negative thoughts of why do I even care? Why should I even try? Why should I this? Instead of a more um, postured position of a question, hey, why did that interaction go that way? And being equipped with being able to speak to, not to be right, but to get a different outcome. If I'm able to evaluate my outcomes and my results, and I'm able to go write my list and say, "Hey, I like that result. I like that result," but I'm not questioning, I didn't get lucky. I'm able to look at it and go, these inputs, and sometimes there's those wild situations where it's a little more difficult to kind of track it, like, what was the source of that? But I think for the most part, we can say when you put good energy in, you get good outputs, you get good behaviors out. And so I think that's just something to roll into our next topic here is you can't always control the storm, but can you control your calmness within the storm?